All right, let me start the recording. We're recording, so we're ready to go.
Okay. Good evening. The September 14th meeting of the Milltown Borough Council will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Farkas?
Here.
Councilman Dixon?
Here.
Councilman Ligotti?
Here.
Will the clerk
Councilwoman
please
Neubauer?
call the roll?
Here. Council President Farkas? Councilman
Here.
Peretti? Councilman Zambrana?
Here.
Mayor, we have 6 present.
Thank you. Will the clerk please read the meeting statement?
Let the minutes reflect that adequate notice of the holding of this regular business meeting of the Borough Council was provided by the adoption of a resolution and the posting, filing, and forwarding of a copy of the same to the official Borough newspapers, Home News Tribune, and Star Ledger Publishing Companies on January 9th, 2020. Notice of access to the meeting via teleconference was submitted on July 9th. Public participation in this meeting will be permitted during public hearings and after the agenda of scheduled matters has been completed.
Thank you. Next in the agenda, we will have a moment of silence followed by a salute to our flag, which is behind me and Councilman Ligotti. So we'll start with the moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next up on the agenda, we have a discussion of matters. Okay, thank you, Mr. Vigneault. You can see that I was going to flip it to you, but I couldn't figure out how. So thank you.
No worries. Mayor, Madam Council members, as you may be aware, but I'll let the public know, I received an inquiry from the attorney for Hannah's Mechanical Contractors at 44 North Main Street in connection with their minor site plan approval that they received in December of 2018. They're making an inquiry regarding the whether the borough would be willing to assist them in the relocation of the pole that's located in front of that property, the utility pole, as the relocation of that utility pole was a condition of their minor site plan approval. I had asked that Mr. Sachs, who is their attorney, be here today so that he could be available for questions and perhaps offer any additional information that he thinks might be relevant to the mayor and council's consideration of their request. And as I can see, looks like Mr. Sachs is up and running.
Thank you, Peter. I appreciate it.
No worries.
And thank you, Mayor and members of the council, for accommodating this just brief discussion. Just to give a little bit of history, this is the property located at 44 North Main Street. It's the home of Hannah's Mechanical Contractors. They've been in business for a good number of years in Milltown. They had received a site plan approval back in December of 2018, essentially to redo their parking lot on the rear and side of their property. They were creating some new parking spaces for their trucks, a new driveway configuration, and that was approved by the planning board in December of 2018. In terms of some history on this, they had submitted a prior application, I believe in 2016 or 2017, to actually do the same thing. But at that particular point in time, they were looking to actually access the site from the library parking lot, which is immediately behind them. There was some concern from the borough about having access through the library. And as a result of that, my client ended up revising the plans and providing the access from Main Street. That access required us to obtain an easement from the adjacent property owner, which they graciously consented to give to us. And I don't expect the council to know, but there's a utility pole pretty much in the area where this easement would be and where this driveway would be widened. Prior to the hearing before the planning board, there had been some discussion between my client and the administration of Milltown, specifically Mayor Stever, and maybe even some members of the governing body, I'm not sure. But essentially there was an agreement, a verbal agreement, albeit that because of the cost involved here and because of the fact that my client was relocating the access from Main Street, that the Borough of Milltown would be responsible for that cost associated with that. Now, I did send a copy of the resolution to Mr. Vignola from the Planning Board. It basically just states that the utility pole located at the front of the premises would be relocated approximately 6 to 7 feet south, and that would obviously permit the new driveway configuration to be done, and that move would be coordinated with the borough. And I guess what triggered my inquiry to Mr. Vignola is we had received a letter from John Eckert regarding just the mechanics of this and some of the costs associated with it. And that's when I reached out to Mr. Vignola to see if we could have this discussion. I have had some discussion with Mike McClellan about this as well. He agreed to look into it. He also believed that there is some of the equipment that's on that pole is obviously, Milltown's equipment because of the fact that you have your own utility authority. So that's all I really have, Mr. Vignola. I don't really have anything else. I'm certainly available to ask any questions. I don't expect the governing body to make a determination tonight. Certainly, I think you probably need to speak to Mr. McClellan about this, but any questions you might have, we're certainly willing to respond to.
Any questions from council members?
I don't have a question. I just have a comment to make. Mr. Sachs, you talked about the resolution, but later on in the resolution, down at the bottom of page 2, it says the applicants will move the existing utility pole at the front of the premises as directed by the borough.
Yeah, it does state it does state that. And
so I don't see anything memorialized about it, any conversations. And quite frankly, Mr. Sachs, if he had a conversation with Mr. Stieber, he needs to get in line because Mr. Stieber had a lot of conversations that he shouldn't have had.
Well, I don't, Councilman Farkas, I'm not just sure it was a conversation with the mayor. I know that Mr. McClellan was involved in some conversations, and I don't even know if members of the council were. I know, I'm sure you didn't necessarily, but I don't know the history of what had transpired with the initial application. I know that the sentiment was not to do it through the back of the property, and my client complied with that, and my involvement really came in. After the new application, when we filed the new application, it had we were not involved in the earlier application. But I don't know. I don't think Mike McClellan is here this evening, but maybe some conversation. Oh,
yeah, I'm here, Larry.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Okay. So anyway, I'll let you go from that point.
Well, just in the way, as Mr. Eckert indicates, the pole is a Verizon pole. It's not really a borough pole, and that basically makes it their ownership. The way typically these poles get relocated is a new pole is installed by the current owner. In this case, it would be Verizon. And then Milltown, as the electric utility, who goes first, typically will move the electric line from the old pole to the new pole. This is a linear alignment, which makes it a little easier. And then once the electric line is moved off the old pole, the old pole then is cut down to where the telephone lines are and the cable TV, and then they're moved off the old pole and onto the new pole. So I don't recall having conversations to who would finance that pole. Typically, with these types of situations, the applicant does the relocation. This has been a long, arduous application, as some of the members may know. For all sides, and Mr. Sachs is correct that this was what was believed to be the best situation that could be made of a very tough, long application to the planning board. So, as far as ownership, I do never recall the borough agreeing to finance the cost. Maybe Verizon will be more helpful, Larry. At times, these poles age. And Mr. Hanna may be fortunate that the pole is of the age where Verizon may be willing to just replace it because of the fact that the old pole's as old as it is. I think that one's been there a long time, and you may have that advantage. These poles typically run, I think, around $2,000, Jeanette, as I remember, just for a pole, depending on the height, and then obviously the cost of the utilities to relocate them. Because this is a linear relocation, it's not as difficult as some of the other ways that these poles have to be relocated. So the cost will be minimal, but still there's work involved, especially with the borough's electric utility because of the transformers and things that have to move. So, and typically you have to leave the old equipment in place, you put the new equipment on, and then take the old equipment down.
Okay.
The other question? Oh, Nick, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mayor. I'm sorry, but in the statement that the attorney made, said he was relocating the driveway in the front. I'm correct that it's an existing driveway. You're just widening it. You're not relocating anything. You're widening the driveway.
We're widening it. We had to obviously get. We're actually widening it on the neighbor's property. That's why we obtained an easement from them. So that was one of the requirements, really, in order for us to do that. So the adjacent property owner to the south is giving us an easement, and part of that driveway will be on their property.
And currently, they are using that driveway to go in and out.
Correct. The existing driveway. Yep.
Currently.
Thank you.
And if I could just add one more thing, the requirement to widen the driveway is because the truck access, the sight distance at the driveway, the applicant originally wanted to use the access to the parking lot, the borough's parking lot. There was significant concern about that because of the children at the library. So through several meetings, the applicant agreed to use the Main Street access. And that's why the pole had to be relocated, so that the adequate sight distance could be maintained at the driveway.
So this site plan was approved in what, 2018?
Yes. Yeah, I think at the end of 2018, Mayor.
Why are we just getting to talk about the moving the pole now?
We finally have resolved all the resolution compliance issues. There were revisions that needed to be made to the plans, which occurred in 2019. It's not unusual to take that long, but now we're at the point where we'd like to start construction. So the resolution compliance is completed at this point. So now we're ready to go obtain construction permits.
Thank you.
Right. I guess if nobody has any other questions, I mean, you are free to consider it and bring it back. I mean, honestly, we can politely provide Mr. Sachs with an answer in the future, yay or nay. But I think the most important one he would be looking for is a yes, and that would be also require some municipal action for you to undertake that obligation. So,
Mr. Vignolo,
yes, sir.
or Mr. Sachs,
Yes.
are you looking for the borough to take this cost on 100%, or is there some kind of a compromise here, or what are you looking for?
I would never rule out a compromise. So, certainly I would love the borough to pick up all of the expenses with it. But if there's some willingness on the borough to compromise with my client, I certainly wouldn't rule that out. I also will take Mr. McClellan's information under advisement, and maybe we will contact Verizon just to see if this is an old pole, and if that's the case, and maybe they'll be graciously involved in replacing it. Then it's just a question really of the labor involved in restringing the line, so to speak. I'm speaking in layman's terms because I'm not an engineer like Mr. McClellan, but I understand what he's saying. So,
Mike, if we have to relocate the lines, is that something we do? Do we need to hire somebody to move the lines? Do we?
My understanding the borough takes care of these type relocations here.
Okay. And that would be something that the borough would then charge off to the property owner for the cost of the labor associated with that?
That's the way I understand it's done typically.
Okay, just want to make sure that we all kind of understand the process. I guess if Mr. Sachs is willing to undertake the due diligence with Verizon, it might be beneficial to have him do that and then kind of get back to me with what, if anything, Verizon might be willing to do, so that the council had a real good picture of what's really being requested at this point. Would that be okay, Larry?
That would be fine, Peter. Yep.
That work, Madam Mayor? Mayor's the
Yes. Well, yeah, because I was going to say, I mean, the borough couldn't take on moving something that really doesn't belong to them anyway, right? The Verizon pole was really never belonged to the borough, so I don't know how we could agree to move it because it's not our property.
Right. You would just be agreeing to undertake whatever cost might be associated with that from Verizon, but no one even really knows what that is at this point. So, well,
yeah, that I guess we could get the costs of however, wasn't that something, Jeanette, that John was going to maybe look into, the cost of the labor for relining or rewiring?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so we can get those costs and see what that is, and that would help us make our decision as well.
Okay.
Okay, that's perfectly acceptable. And in the meantime, I'll also reach out to Verizon and see what we can find out in terms of the status of that pole and what the cost would be as well. And I'll provide that to you, Mr. Vignola.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sachs.
Okay, well, listen, Mayor, members of council, thank you very much, and I'm sure we'll be speaking shortly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
Thanks.
Okay, that's going to conclude our discussion. And now we will move on to a public hearing. Will the clerk please read ordinance 20-1490 by title?
Sure. An ordinance to amend Chapter 2, Administration, Section 4, Creation of Departments, Offices, and Boards, Chapter 2, Administration, Section 50, Human Relations Commission, and adopt Chapter 2, Administration, Section 50, Human Relations Committee of the Revised General Ordinances of the Borough of Milltown.
You've heard the reading of this ordinance. Actually, Gabriella, we have to take comments first, or we're just voting on it now?
No, it's a public hearing.
It's a public hearing.
Okay. So if any member of the public wishes to speak regarding this ordinance, please follow the clerk's instructions and give your name and address for the record, please.
I have shared instructions for how to raise your hand. If you are on your phone, you can press *9. From your Mac or PC, you can press Option or Alt-Y. In your app or on the computer, you can choose the raise hand option. There is no video streaming. You will be allowed to mute and unmute yourself. I click on you and I will announce you by the name assigned to you. And please just say your name and address for the record. So far we have Megan Geyer.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. This is Megan Geyer. I'm at 29 Highland Drive. Really excited for this ordinance. I just had a couple of questions around the vetting process for the people who will be chosen to be on the council. So 2 questions. The first one is, will the council be establishing any additional criteria on top of the standard citizen leaders application? So any additional criteria or supplemental information that ensures really diversity in this committee, things around age, race, gender, sexual preference, religion, economic background, all of those other factors?
So the citizen leadership application will have space for supplemental information. So I would encourage anyone that is going to submit an application for this committee to put as much or as detail as you want as to why you're interested in joining. Anything that you think that we should know about you that would help us, pick the most representative group. if need be, if we need to contact people as a follow-up, we'll have their phone number and address as well. So we can always follow up with people just to make sure that we're getting the right mix of people on the committee.
Okay, great. And that kind of goes into my second question, which is once you receive these applications, what is the process that you will take to vet the applicants and make your selections by the councilor mayor? And then I also know some of the positions are chosen by like the Board of Ed or the Chief of Police. And I'm curious if you have any insight into how they will be choosing and selecting and vetting their positions.
So the Board of Ed will be a liaison, just like there's a liaison to the council. So that would be up to the Board of Ed to designate. The same with the Chief of Police to designate someone from his department to join. There are students that right off the top of my head, I forget how we were going to choose that, but we'll follow up on that. But the rest are. I think, Megan, we really have to see how many we get. It's something that there could be a lot, there could be a few. I mean, it hasn't been really with all the other committees that we've had so many that we've had to turn away a lot. But, if need be, we'll do a follow-up or something like that, as I said, to speak to everybody to make sure that we're getting a fair representation.
Madam Mayor, if I could just jump in, the student representatives are students who have completed their sophomore year in high school, and they are appointed in the same manner by you with advice and consent of the council upon recommendation of either their principal or another educator at their school.
That's right. Thank you.
You got it.
I knew there was something in there, but I couldn't remember.
Of course.
No, I appreciate your responses, and I really hope that you get to see a lot of respondents. So, you have this good problem to have to resolve, in which case I'd love to hear more about how you will be vetting if you get multiple people, more people than you have seats.
We will follow up. I will say that, we may know, we'll share on how people could do the citizen leadership. It's going to take a little while to go through, and then we will follow up definitely, and I'll keep people posted, at the next meeting or something like that. So we'll not going to maybe have an answer right away, but we will definitely keep you informed.
Thank you very much. That's all.
We have another. Courtney Williams.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Courtney Williams. I live at 318 Clay Street. So I think this might be a little bit preemptive and might be answered probably by the time the next council meeting comes around. But I'm just wondering again, when the updated application for the HRC will be available. I know that was in the process, so I just wanted to know when that was going to be up on the website.
So it should be, and Gabriella can answer better, but we couldn't add it until we actually approved this tonight. So it should be very soon, Courtney. Right, Gabriella?
The application was updated to include the HRC on our citizen leadership application, and upon approval tonight, it'll be published to the Borough website and directly in the Forum Center.
Great. Thank you so much. And then I just have another question, and it's kind of along the same lines of Megan, in that if you do kind of have multiple applications, what is the consideration for like a multi-step application process and the interview process? And if so, is there going to be like a revised timeline for this? I know that there was kind of the hope to have this selected and launched for, I believe, the December, if I'm not incorrect.
The timeline isn't set. So, I will say that we'll give a thorough vetting, thorough consideration. I don't want to, say that there's a definitive timeline because it may require some follow-up, and there's a lot of other things that, to go through with actually giving people enough time to apply. So that might take a few weeks, and, we'll follow up. So, the actual process, really depends on, if there's 10 people or 40 people. We're sort of in a wait and see pattern. So I will say that the next time we can give some updates, and we'll give folks enough time to apply. I know a lot of people have been interested already. And so, we'll keep you updated and, make sure that everybody that, applies gets a fair shot at the committee.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I do not have any other raised hands at this time.
Okay. Thank you. We will close comments, and I will ask the council, what is your pleasure on the ordinance?
Move that the ordinance be adopted on first reading, published according to law, and that a public hearing be held at our next regularly scheduled council meeting on Monday, September 28th, I believe, at 7 o'clock in council chambers in Borough Hall or via Zoom meeting.
Second
reading. We're on second reading, Councilman Legati.
We're on second reading. Okay.
The hearing.
I did that once before, so I'll amend my motion to say, I make a motion that the ordinance be adopted on second and final reading and it be published according to law.
Seconded.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Legati, second by Councilman Peretti. Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Farkas?
Aye.
Councilman Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Neubauer?
Aye.
Councilman Peretti?
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana?
Aye.
Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
Thank you. So moved. Next on the agenda, we have comments from the audience on resolutions. If any member of the public wishes to speak on the resolutions, please follow the instructions and say your name and address for the record. These comments are limited to resolutions listed on the agenda.
I have again shared instructions for how to raise your hand in Zoom. From your phone, you can press *9. From Mac or PC, you can press Option or Alt-Y. In the app or on the computer app, you can choose the option for raise hand. And we'll give a moment for anybody to raise their hand. I have a raised hand. It's a phone call. I've unmuted you. The last numbers are 330.
Yeah. Anyone?
I apologize. You're unmuted. Phone number 330.
Yes, this is Paula Dana, 23 South Main. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Just a question, clarification, please, on 20-171 regarding outdoor seating. Is that just an update or final approval of the resolution 2120 that you all had addressed on June 17th, giving all the regulations? Is that just the same regulations, or have there been any updates or changes, please?
Mayor, if you'd like, I can step in on this one.
Please, thank you.
Essentially, when the borough put it, well, the short answer is it's the same thing. When the borough adopted the resolution initially, it had a lifespan of the lesser of a number of things, one of which was, I think, 90 days from the date of the resolution. So we're coming up against that 90-day period, and I think we all like our outdoor dining. So I think the council has decided to extend it for another period. It would be the lesser of a number of periods, either 90 days if the governor then changes what the regulations are, or if the council takes some action to revoke outdoor dining.
Great. Thank you very much.
You got it.
Thank you, Mr. Vignolo. Any other questions, comments?
There are no other hands raised.
Okay. If not, we will move on to the bill list. Will the clerk please read Bill Resolution 20-162?
Authorizing the payment of bills, claims, and statements against the Borough of Milltown in the total amount of $1,344,397.70.
Thank you. You've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move that this resolution be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion by Council President Farkas, second by Councilman Ligotti. Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Farkas?
Aye.
Councilman Dixon? I see he's there. I'm trying to unmute him.
He's muted.
Ron, you're muted.
I'm unmuted, finally.
There you go. Good.
Yeah.
Can we pay the bill? Thank you.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you. Councilman Ligotti?
Aye.
Councilwoman Newbauer? Aye. Councilman Peretti?
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana?
Aye.
Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
Thank you. So moved. Now we'll move on to introduction of resolutions and reports of standing committees. A consent resolution has been prepared to cover the resolutions listed on the agenda. If any member of the council wants to act any resolution acted upon individually, please give me the resolution number and it will be pulled from the consent resolution. Okay. The clerk please read the consent resolution.
Whereas pursuant to the rules of the council may establish a consent agenda for the regular or special meeting. And whereas the Borough Clerk has posted a consent agenda for this meeting, now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, the consent agenda previously prepared by the Borough Clerk be approved without the necessity of having the individual resolutions read by the Borough Clerk.
Thank you. You've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Make the motion that the resolution be adopted.
Second. Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Ligotti, second by Councilman Zambrana. Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Farkas?
Aye.
Councilman Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Ligotti?
Aye.
Councilwoman Newbauer?
Aye.
Councilman Peretti?
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana?
Aye.
Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
Thank you. So moved. We'll move on to the reports of the committees. We'll start with the Department of Finance, Administration, and Planning. Councilman Phil Zambrana.
Madam Mayor, tonight, I don't have any report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to the Department of Public Safety. Nicholas Ligotti.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. 2 reports tonight. The first being from our director of our senior center, Debbie Cuddy. Thank you for the opportunity to give the council and Milltown residents an update to what is ongoing in the senior center. As we know, the past several months, the COVID-19 pandemic has been devastating. Its effects have been exacerbated even more so on our aging and senior populations who are vulnerable and most at risk. Our Milltown seniors' lives, much like their contemporaries, have been affected and disrupted greatly. We have seniors who come to the senior center daily to have lunch and meet and socialize with their friends. We also have seniors who use our transportation for medical appointments, food shopping, and run their weekly errands. Our senior center and its activities and services provide those who do not have families nearby or have ample support systems in place and the opportunity to have their needs met on a daily basis. For some of our members, even consider our center their home away from home, and their needed sense of belonging and community is reinforced. Therefore, keeping in mind the Milltown Senior Center has made its priority to keep the lines of communications open during the pandemic via email, telephone checks with many of our members. This has helped to assess any express needs to help link them with the community and county resources. Some of these resources include food shopping and delivering options, as well as viable means of transportation for doctor visits and other necessities, thus maintaining our continued support of offering options to those in need. Throughout the pandemic, we have been able to successfully maintain our Meals on Wheels program. We have added new members who needed it for a short time and for those who now plan to stay on indefinitely. Maintaining this program not only helps to provide well-balanced, healthy meals, but seems to give a sense of security to homebound seniors that their meals delivery has not been affected. We have also continued our collection of beautiful hats, scarves, blankets, and ponchos made by our volunteers. Once this is complete, they will deliver them to the Veterans Home in Edison and those local cancer treatment centers. The Middlesex County Senior Center Health and Fitness Walk in Roosevelt Park has been canceled this year. This is a very popular and much anticipated event with the seniors, and they look forward to it every year. After many meetings with our senior center directors and our county staff, we wanted to give our Milltown seniors a fun event to look forward to. As of the writing of this letter, most senior centers are not opening. Instead, are having drive-by events. The idea maintained very little direct contact with seniors, but still reinforced connections to our center and to other seniors in our community. I have tentatively scheduled a Halloween-themed drive-up event on October 29th or 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., depending on the feedback and availability of our members. There will be two groups scheduled, one from 10 to 12 and the other from 12 to 2. There will be a treat given to each person, as well as giveaway and prizes to all that attend and participate. For those who cannot make it, we will be happy to deliver to their homes at some point when we have an idea of how many people are planning to attend. We will reach out to the police chief to help with the plan. If the event is successful, we will continue ones like this through the holiday season. Lastly, we have given out all of our food pantry items. This has been helpful for those who could not shop for themselves. Moving forward, we will replace most requested items to try and individualize pantry items for those who need it. I am in the office weekly and check my voicemails daily. The Office of Senior Services remains available for those in need. A special thanks to the Milltown Borough for their continued support and availability in helping me maintain connections with our Milltown seniors. Any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me at 732-296-0681 or email me at dcuddy@milltownborough.com. That report was from our director of our senior center, Debbie Cuddy. I will try to get more reports and keep our seniors appraised at future meetings. I think we're going to try and make that a little bit more on schedule, at least once a month for our seniors. My second report is the police monthly report dated 9/2/2020 from Chief Brian Kennelly. The Milltown Police Department has increased traffic enforcement and radar in some areas of concern. Residents are reminded to drive safely and obey local traffic laws as pedestrians and vehicle traffic may increase with summer end and potential return to school. In addition to mandated training requirements, which include, but certainly not limited to, internal affairs, use of force, de-acceleration, bias-based policing, community law enforcement affirmative relations, known as CLEAR training, and legal updates and ethics, the Milltown Police Department has recently completed additional training provided by the U.S. Department of Justice on building trust between law enforcement and its community. The police department takes pride in our training and our dedication to provide the highest level of public safety service and professionalism to our community. As COVID-19 continues to impact our lives, scammers are taking advantage. It's important to know the legitimate contact tracing calls that are being made. However, legitimate contact tracers will never ask for banking information or social security numbers. Please continue to report suspicious activity, traffic concerns, non-emergent type calls to 732-828-1100. Police will determine a necessary response. Walk-in complaints are discouraged due to COVID-19 concerns and restrictions. Emergency and life-threatening calls, please use 911. Residents are reminded to report any concerns and/or complaints by using the official borough website or by calling the Milltown Police directly. The Milltown Police Department does not monitor and will not react or respond to comments or complaints posted on any third-party social media sites. Thank you, Chief Brian Kennelly. And that concludes my report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilman. Appreciate the update on the seniors, and Chief, from you and from Debbie. Next, we'll move on to the Department of Utilities. Council President Randy Farkas.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For the month of August, the Utility Department has the following report. 52 daily station checks were performed, 31 substation checks were performed, and 52 plus utility markouts were performed. Water samples. Disinfectant residual testing was performed on August 5th, 12th, and 19th. TTHM and HAA testing was performed on August 12th. All results were satisfactory. For the electrical utility, various electric meters were replaced. Street lights were repaired and replaced at the following locations. 3 Cherry Hill received a new LED fixture. 17 Riva Avenue also received a new LED fixture, and near 318 Clay Street. North Main Street Bridge, the lighting contactor was replaced. Service drop was replaced at 3 Lynn Drive due to storm damage. Service drop was replaced at 15 Albert Avenue due to storm damage. And a new service drop was installed at 10 Violet Terrace to replace an old underground service. A storm on August 4th knocked out power to roughly 65 homes, and many broken branches ended up in the overhead wiring. Distribution wires were down in 2 separate areas. Entire trees tipped over into distribution wires in at least 3 locations. Overall, there were at least 15 areas which required immediate attention for electrical issues. Our entire crew worked tirelessly throughout the restoral process and received aid from High Energy Electric in the form of 1 bucket truck and a 2-man crew. Many thanks for their hard work. For the water department, as a result of the lead exceedances that have occurred over the past several years, the DEP has mandated that Milltown Borough install orthophosphate treatment system at our Elkins Lane pumping station. CME, our consulting engineer, has been working on submittals to the DEP so that we can move onto an actual system installation. Monitoring and fine-tuning of the Elkins Lane pump station and its interaction with the water tower are ongoing. The pumps at the station are cycling on and off at varying times during the day to facilitate water entering and exiting the water tower to maintain optimum water quality in the tower. Initially, there were a few complaints about discolored water. This was due to the water changing direction while the pumps cycled and stirring up harmless sediment. This all seems to have subsided. Fire hydrants will be flushed in the near future. We are working on the scheduling and will notify the residents as soon as we have a working schedule. Hydrant flushing is an essential part of system maintenance to remove sediment from the piping system. It also checks the operation of the borough's hydrants to ensure that they are operable in the event of a fire. I'd like to thank Ralph Jazanowski and his DPW crew for their assistance that they provided to the utility department with all tree removals associated with the storm. As always, the utility department works hand in hand with the utility billing department to ensure accurate utility charges. We troubleshoot faulty meters and work very hard to resolve any billing issues that occur. And as always, please remember to check channel 15 and milltownnj.org for updated information. And that concludes my report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to the Department of Public Works and Recycling, Councilwoman Anna Newbauer.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Along with all regular curbside collections, the Department of Public Works has the following to report. There was a sinkhole repair on Albert Avenue. A property cleanup of brush and debris has taken place at South Main Street Firehouse in the Historical Society home. Baseball fields were prepared for the district tournament games. There was line striping that has been taking place around town. Hydrant painting has begun around town, and street sweeping is ongoing in order to meet the stormwater regulations. There have been street sign repairs that have taken place around town. A pothole repair is taking place and will be ongoing throughout the fall around town as well. Concrete collection begins the week of October 12th. Please call ahead to make appointments for curbside collections. Please call 732-828-2100, extension 187. Leaf bags are on their way. They will be made available beginning October 5th at the new DPW garage at 50 Washington Ave. Hours will be 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. Saturday availability will be announced at a future meeting. Attention all residents. As a reminder, bulk collection occurs each week. Metal is the first Wednesday. TV electronics is the second Wednesday. Non-metal bulk is the third Wednesday. If items are placed on the curb on the wrong week, they will be left behind. Please follow this schedule to have all of your items collected properly. As always, collection may take until Friday. Please leave them out until then. Please check channel 15 and milltownnj.org for DPW updates. As a secondary update, I have two other things. For the green team, they just submitted their Sustainable New Jersey application last Friday. We're waiting to hear back, and after we hear back, we get one more chance to go through and make any changes that were necessary for the application to be deemed complete. And then the second thing is that the Cable TV Committee has put together for their annual candidate forum. The forum is going to be Wednesday, October 14th at 7:30 p.m. There will be no public in attendance, only the candidates, the moderator, and the press. Questions may be submitted in advance via the online form that can be found on the milltownnj.org. It's under, you can either go to the calendar event itself for the candidate form, and there's a link there, or you can go to the form section of the website and find the form there. The event has already been posted on the website's calendar. That's all I have to report tonight.
Thank you. Next, we will move on to the Department of Environmental Health and Social Services, Councilman Ron Dixon.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Middlesex County has still suspended all rabies clinics for 2020. Any updates or new schedulings will be posted to the Middlesex County website. with information as to date, time, and location of any rabies clinics that do become available. Animal licenses, both cat and dog, must be renewed in January 2021. Middlesex County will be holding flu clinics. At this time, the schedule has not been released. The schedule will be posted once available to the Middlesex County website. Forward to the Senior Director and available to the Borough Clerk's office. Annual food establishment licenses expire in December. Renewal applications will be sent by the Borough Clerk's office starting in November. A resolution to extend outside dining regulations was passed tonight in accordance with the executive orders. And that is my report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. And next we will move on to the Department of Recreation, Councilman James Peretti.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For this evening, the SAC report, the Milltown SAC program remains closed during this time as we await further information from the schools about when hybrid learning will begin. For updates, please visit the Borough website. Recreation. Recreation is offering fall tennis. Fall tennis begins September 18th. Registration is open online currently. Please go to the Borough website and under Recreation to CapturePoint/Community Pass to register. After meeting with the Rec Committee this past week, we are now planning on opening registration later this week for fall soccer. Please check the Borough website for more details to register. We thank everyone for their patience during this time and continue to pray for everyone's safety and well-being. We ask that you still abide by social distancing orders and wear your mask at all times. Thank you. And on a related note, Madam Mayor, I wanted to take the opportunity to congratulate our Milltown Little Leagues for a successful season this year. And a special shout out to the 13 and under baseball and 12 and under softball teams for winning their district championships. So congratulations to
that's great.
All the young Milltown athletes winning and bringing pride to our town.
Great.
That concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to the administrator's report. Jeanette Larison.
I have no report tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Next, we'll move to our engineer's report, Mr. Mike McClellan.
Yes, Madam Mayor, just a short report tonight. Item 1, 750,000 gallon water storage tank. Painting of the tank logo is scheduled to be completed by the end of September, weather permitting. 2, the concrete slab at the Public Works replacement to commence this week, weather permitting also. And lastly, we are working on a submission to DEP corrosion control project. The concept design will be submitted by mid-October as promised. That's all we have for tonight.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have our returning report, Mr. Peter Vignola.
I have no report, but I can corroborate that the slab replacement has commenced. I listened to them cutting it all day. It's a delightful sound.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Glad you're enjoying it. Okay. That concludes our reports. Now we will move on to introduction of ordinances. Will the clerk please read ordinance 20-1491 by title?
An ordinance amending the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Milltown to add chapter 27, fiber optic cables.
You've heard the reading of this ordinance. What is your pleasure?
If I could jump in for 1 second, Madam Mayor.
Sorry.
Some of you may feel like COVID has become Groundhog Day. And last meeting, we adopted this ordinance on first reading, and now we're doing it again. And the reason is that upon review, the escrow section or the escrow obligation in the ordinance really was more properly placed in another section of the ordinance. And while you can make some non-material changes to ordinances between your first and second reading, based upon the change that we made, I thought it was more appropriate to start the process all over again. So really the sole change between this and the ordinance that was considered at last meeting is the escrow for the review of a request by your borough engineer has been moved to a section so that it's confirmed that it's due at the time of the request, not at the time of the approval.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You got it.
So anyone have a motion on this?
Move that the ordinance be adopted on first reading, published according to law, and a public hearing be held at the next regularly scheduled council meeting on Monday, September 28th at 7 p.m. in council chambers in Borough Hall.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Ligotti, second by Councilwoman Newbauer. Any discussion? No discussion. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Farkas?
Aye.
Councilman Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Ligotti?
Aye.
Councilwoman Newbauer?
Aye.
Councilman Peretti?
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana?
Aye.
Mayor, you have 6 ayes.
So moved. Thank you. Will the clerk please read ordinance 20-1492 by title?
An ordinance to amend chapter 19, Parks and Recreation, section 6, Borough Pool, subsection 6.3, fees, and subsection 7, recreation programs, and subsection 7.2, fees of revised general ordinances of the Borough of Milltown, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey.
You've heard the reading of this ordinance. What is your pleasure? Do I have a motion? Question? Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I move that this resolution be adopted on first reading, published according to law, and a public hearing be held at our next regularly scheduled council meeting on Monday, September 28th at 7 p.m. in council chambers or via Zoom.
Seconded.
I have a motion by Councilman Ligotti, second by Councilman Peretti. Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilman Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Ligotti?
Aye.
Councilwoman Newbauer?
Aye.
Councilman Peretti?
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana?
Aye.
Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
Thanks, so moved. Next, we will move on to the agenda of old business. Does any member of the council have any old business they'd like to bring before the council this evening?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I think this might be old business. Mike McClellan, I noticed that there was quite a few dead landscape plantings around the new facility, around the outside and the inside. Is that something that's going to be addressed before this fall?
Yeah, there's a maintenance guarantee that's going to be posted by the contractor that has not been submitted to the borough already. But the time to replace those plants is now. So we will go through and make sure and get a schedule from us when they're going to be done. Okay?
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So while we're on that topic, I get a lot of questions from the public about what the status is or when are the departments moved in yet? Does anybody have a status update that they could share with the public tonight?
I think Jeanette can.
Okay. She was on there.
I'm getting there. So yes, I can provide you with an update as far as the utility crews and the DPW are working out of the garage. We have some ancillary items that need to be completed before we can get everyone into the offices there. So I don't believe we have some furniture that's on order and some IT that is waiting to be completed. So unfortunately, it's going to be another 4 to 6 weeks before that happens. So we're looking, end of October, anywhere from the end of October to maybe say the beginning of November.
Oh, okay. Great. Thanks. I didn't realize it was 4 to 6 weeks. So thank you.
Yeah, it's waiting for the deliveries.
Okay. Great. Thanks. Any other old business? Okay, we'll move on to new business. Does any member of the council have any new business they would like to discuss? Okay, seeing none, we will so I have a couple of announcements to read. I really have a spot, so why don't I just do it here? So first, I am on the Milltown Library Board. So excuse me while I pull up some announcements from the Milltown Public Library. The Milltown Public Library is making strides to get back to regular library service and to serve the needs of the people of Milltown. Curbside pickup of materials is available and becoming more and more popular. Patrons can either call or place material on hold, and library staff will check out the material bag and make it available on a table outside the library. The library is also inviting people to either call to make an appointment or come by and knock on the door to enter the library to browse for material and to use the computers. Staff are available to make copies, fax material, and notarize documents. I'll have an update on story time. So 2 weekly story times on Monday and Wednesday, as well as a Friday craft program, are being conducted by the Children's Librarian via Zoom. Just call the library at 732-247-2270 to get the information regarding the Zoom entry. The library website, as well as the Facebook page, will provide more information regarding all the services available to Milltown residents, including digital resources, programs, and material available for borrowing. You just have to Google Milltown Public Library NJ to get to the library's website. One of the digital resources, Hoopla, includes TV shows and movies, as well as ebooks, audiobooks, and comic books. Material for all ages is included in both of the library's digital resources. And then I have an update. Actually, the story time will be 3 times each week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10:45 for all ages. Okay, so that's that. And then Gabriella I'm going to read the election information now, okay? Do you have any updates on that? This was in my packet. Is that for me to read now?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. So I know this is something that a lot of people are talking about, so I'll go ahead. The general election will be November 3rd, 2020. Polls are open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Joyce Kilmer School at 21 West Church Street will be the sole location to vote in person in Milltown. All regulations regarding social distancing will be adhered to at the polling locations. In-person voting is limited to provisional paper ballots. All active registered voters, regardless of political affiliation, will receive a mail-in ballot from the county. Mail-in ballots can be mailed or delivered in person to the county. Mail-in ballots can be brought to the polling location only by the person whose ballot it is. There is a ballot drop box located at the Milltown Municipal Building where mail-in ballots can be dropped anytime before 8 p.m. on Election Day. October 13th is the deadline to register to vote for the November election. We encourage all residents and registered voters to vote by mail. Applications were sent to registered voters and are available on the Borough website. Information regarding the election is available on the Borough's website as well. If anyone has any questions regarding registration, polling locations, or other election questions, please contact the Borough Clerk's office and review the information posted to the Borough website, which is under Vote 2020. And we get updates from the county. You can find all of the most updated information on there on the Vote 2020. And that's it for me for my 2 announcements. So moving on from new business, we will now move on to audience comments. If any member of the audience wishes to make any comments, please follow the instructions and state your name and address for the record.
I have again shared the screen for instructions for how to raise your hand. If you'd like to make a comment from your phone, you can dial *9. From your computer, Mac or PC, you can hit Option Y or Alt Y. In your phone app or on the computer, you can choose the option for raise hand. Mayor, I don't see any raised hands.
Okay. Seeing none, we will close audience comments and we will move on to council comments. Does
Yes,
any
Madam
member?
Mayor,
Yes.
I have one
Councilman
comment.
Legat, yes.
Sorry to say that Milltown will be losing a former councilman. Councilman Gary Walters is leaving us, a 28-year plus resident of Milltown, dedicated volunteer, councilman for quite a few years, is moving, and it's a loss to the Milltown community. I just wanted to wish him and his family well.
Thank you. Yes, and we certainly all wish Gary well. Yes, yes. He will be missed, as will Mr. Glenn Garlotti, who was the chairman of the planning board for many years, who is also moving from Milltown. So he will be missed as well. And we wish them well in all their future endeavors.
Yeah.
Any other council comments?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I just want to echo Councilman Peretti's report and offer my congratulations to the mighty Milltown Little League district champions. Good luck as they go forward, and they're doing a great job, so job well done.
Great, yes, good for them. Anyone else? So I have two things. The first thing I wanted to mention was that I've been getting questions about Halloween. I'm not sure if you all have too. It came about a lot last week when Los Angeles said that they were canceling all Halloween activities, but then Governor Murphy assured everyone that Halloween would be moving along. I've spoken to Chief Kennelly, and unless the borough does a resolution, we cannot stop trick-or-treating. So I just wanted to let everyone know. I know that there's also going to be the request for a trunk or treat, perhaps some signs to let people know that it's safe. If you don't feel comfortable answering the door because you're concerned about your health, you don't have to. If you want to, that's fine. And, it'll be up to the parents to decide if they're comfortable with their children trick-or-treating. If there's any concerns that people have, please bring it to me or the council. But as of right now, we still have a month and a half. I just wanted to let people know because I've gotten a lot of questions. I think people are deciding whether they need to buy candy or make plans or, what's going on. So we'll follow up on this again at the next meeting.
Madam Mayor, to that point,
yeah.
The trunk or treat, there will be more information at the September 28th meeting.
Perfect. That's great. Perfect timing. On another note, I don't know if you've all seen the My Central Jersey today, but there was a beautiful picture of our borough clerk in there today. And so I want to let everybody know that she was in there for a good reason. Our Gabriella Saboni, who has been our clerk for 5 years, is moving on to bigger and better things. She has accepted a position in another town. And while she will be transitioning and helping us for a while, I just wanted to take this time to acknowledge all of her hard work and effort here in the borough over the last 5 years and, show my appreciation and wish her well and lots of success in her new role.
Thank you.
Yes, Madam Mayor, as I told Gabriella on the phone, I won't mention the town, but the town's gain is our loss.
Exactly. Agree.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Seeing none, I will close council comments and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So be it.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilman Dixon, second from Councilman Gotti. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Okay, great. Thank you all. Good night, everyone. Take care.
Good night now.
Thank you.
Good health to all.
Yes,
You, Mike.
same to you.
Son.
Thank you.